Spoilers for The Expanse, Season 6, Book 6, and the novella Strange Dogs. Okay. Well, flick my nips. That was one hell of a ride. Previously on Keeping Up with the Laconians, a girl called Kara accidentally kills a bird thing and breaks her drone, only to discover that these strange dogs fix the drone and bring the bird back to life. Kara's brother gets killed by a drunk driver and Kara hatches a plan. Kara takes her brother into the woods where the dogs like to hang out and boogie. The dogs bring her brother back to life, and although he retains his memories and some of his personality, he is different. He has changed. So in this episode, Kara, the little pterodactyl murderer, brings her zombified brother home, and understandably her parents freak the fuck out. The dad's like, "You're not my son!" And the little dead kid's like, "Have I not been a good boy, Papa? Do you not love me anymore, Papa? Papaya?" They lock the freak in the cupboard and go to get the authorities. Kara frees her zombie brother and runs off into the woods. The freak kid says that she will die in the woods, probably from the cold or starvation, or I don't know, a rock might fall on her head and explode her brains. But Kara doesn't give a shit, man, because she knows the dogs will likely bring her back to life, just like they did her brother. So they can all live happily ever after as zombified protomolecule woodland freaks. So what's going on, man? Laconia was once the home of the Ring Builders, or one of their homes, the protomolecule alien dudes who have long since been wiped out, but their influence remains in the form of weird technology such as the ring gates themselves, the wormholes, strange creatures, giant warships, and their little minions. That's what these dog things are, pretty much their repair drones. Super advanced technology, probably without any sentience or self-awareness, just drones programmed to fix the proto-alien stuff if it breaks down or gets damaged. So the aliens are long gone, but the shit remains. The dogs probably use the proto-molecule to repair proto stuff, which is neat and works when it's proto shit. But when they try to fix, in this case, alien stuff, like humans are the aliens to the dogs, it doesn't quite work. We see that the proto-molecule fucks with human DNA in a weird way. So when the dogs try to repair the dead kid, they probably use proto-technology, the proto-molecule, which made him all zombie-like and weird. Just to reiterate, the dogs have no goal or end game. They are just doing what their programming has told them to do, and in this case, it zombifies kids. Neat! And that's pretty much it for the Laconia stuff. Remember, this was taken from the novella Strange Dogs, which came out after Book 6, which is what Season 6 is based off. In the future books, we get a lot more Laconian stuff, but a little bit more on that in a bit. Over at the Inner's neck of the woods, Mars, Earth, and Drummer's Roughnecks are formulating a plan. The railguns in the slow zone are such a great defense that the gang considers intercepting Marco and his fleet before he reaches the safety of Medina Station in the slow zone. Avasaralala says that they are too evenly matched and thus doesn't like those odds, but they don't really have a choice, so Mars, Earth, and Drummer's mob will engage the Free Navy in a good old-fashioned slugfest, whilst the Rossi does a sneaky. The plan is for the Rossi to rush the ring gate, get there before Marco, capture the railguns, and use them not only to take Medina Station, but blow Marco to tiny pieces. But in order to get past the railguns, they need a distraction. They get their hands on an old ice hauler and strap engines and thrusters to a shitload of containers and drones and whatever they can, and rush the gate. They release a shitload of targets so that the railguns have to spend their time targeting random shit, and hopefully the Rossi and a few other ships can sneak in amongst the chaos. And it works, but more on that in a bit. Drummer and the gang attack the Free Navy, but Marco pulls a sneaky, disguising his ship as a cargo hauler, and after an awesome shootout, Drummer decides to kamikaze. In my last video, I predicted this by saying that Drummer has lost just about everything: her family, her loyalties, her way, if you will. Likely we will see some classic Captain going down with the ship shit, but just before she can mash herself into the pillar, the Golden Bow leader, Liang Walker, beats her to it. Marco, regardless, escapes, and Drummer is left stranded. The only hope now rests with the Rossi and their assault team. So after a really cool shootout and all this crazy shit happens, the Rossi gets past the railguns and the assault team lands and tries to capture the railguns. Unfortunately, they fail, but do manage to disable them. This is okay, but not great. They needed the railguns to defeat Marco, and now they have just about nothing. They are outnumbered and outgunned. They contemplate making a run to one of the rings, maybe one of the colonies, and pretty much go into hiding, but they don't have enough resources to get there. They will likely run out of fuel, air, food, etc. But it doesn't matter because these people are heroes. They don't want to cut and run. They will go down swinging. The odds are against them, but the Rossi crew decides to stay and fight regardless. But that's when Naomi hatches a plan. Throughout this season, we have seen Naomi and Holden trying to figure out the mystery of the ring gates and the spooky aliens that reside within them. Remember, the aliens that made the rings, the proto-molecule, and all the weird shit are long dead. All this crap left behind is just their technology, remnants. Something wiped them out. An even superior alien entity that we see glimpses of during transit through the ring gate. Last episode, we learnt that if too much energy or mass passes through the ring at one time, the mysterious alien thing wakes up and eats whatever is passing through it, more or less. We've seen this a bunch of times, most spectacularly last season when the ring ghosts eat a Martian ship en route to Laconia. Naomi figured out, at least she is pretty sure, the exact threshold that awakens the aliens, and so a plan is made. They fire everything they have, every last nuke, every bit of mass, all ships, all unmanned crap and guns through the ring at the same time as Marco and his Knob squad are passing through. And if it's enough, if it crosses that threshold, the ring ghosts, in theory, should awaken and eat Marco's ships. So that's what they do, and wouldn't you know it, it bloody worked, mate. The ring ghosts appear and munch down on Marco. It's kind of bittersweet because, yeah, Marco, as far as we know, is dead, but it happens so quick and that kind of sucks. It's kind of like shooting a pedophile on the back of the head. As far as the pedo knows, he's gotten away with it. You kind of want them to suffer a bit. You want them to pay for their crime. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I've been watching too much Dexter lately. At the very least, right before Marco enters the ring, he realizes what's happening. He's like, oh shit, I've done the wrong thing, eh? And then he gets eaten by the ring ghost. So at least he is gone and the war is finally over. Obviously, I'm rushing through this because even though this was a long episode, there's a lot of emotional stuff. It was mostly just action, so there's not really that much that needs to be explained. The sad part, however, is that Naomi's son Philip was on that ship, and so even though it had to be done, essentially they killed her son. Also, they think Philip actually took off a little earlier, finally coming to terms with how much of a massive cock his dad is. In the book, Philip sneaks off with some other crew, getting a job on a hauler somewhere or something, I can't remember. In the show, however, he pirates a ship and makes a sneaky getaway, but as far as everyone else is concerned, Philip is dead along with the rest of the Free Navy. But at least we know he isn't. But is that a good thing though? Like, I get that he has come around and he's one of the main good guys' kid, but also he helped bomb Earth. He stole the Martian stealth paint that hid the asteroids that destroyed Earth. He is responsible for billions and billions of innocent deaths, and despite having a born-again-like epiphany, he is still, or was, a murderous terrorist. So that's kind of fucked. Same with Peaches, right? She killed heaps of innocent people trying to get to Holden, and now we like her, right? This show really makes you walk the line between what is forgivable and what is not, what is right and what is wrong. It's pretty cool. So anyway, Marco's dead, more or less. The Free Navy is no more or less. And now the war is, more or less, over. So Earth, Mars, and the Belt need to sort their shit out. There are hundreds, well, over 1,000 systems out there with habitable planets, right? Thanks to the ring gates. Planets with resources, food maybe, water, breathable air, etc., which kind of makes the Belters obsolete. Why fart about in space mining dangerous asteroids when you can just go to an unoccupied planet, sling up a hammock between two trees, and suck back on some Muay Thais, baby! This is fine if you're a Martian or an Urto, but not if you are a Belter. Due to generations of living in low-gravity environments, i.e. space, Belters cannot withstand the high gravity of planets. They crumble under their own fragility, and so the Belters will inevitably die off. But there will still be a need for a ton of space travel due to cargo hauling and trade and so on, so everyone agrees a trade union will be needed. Remember, the ring ghosts are still hanging about, and there will be a need for a regulatory body to monitor and assist in trade routes and ring transit, not to mention anti-piracy escorts, refueling and repair stations and so on. And because Earth is fucked due to the asteroids, the bombardment, and a huge war has just taken place, mining and trade in order to rebuild, to get back to their former glory, will be of utmost importance. And who better to run this guild than the people who are born, live and die in space? The Belters. So an independent trade guild is established and Holden is made president of it. They think he's a neutral force. He's sided with Belters, he's sided with Mars. He doesn't really have a side, he's just there, right? But Holden, being the legend that he is, understands that the Belters will never truly respect an inner, even Holden, as their leader, not after years and years of oppression. So he immediately retires and his vice president, the mighty Drum, is promoted to president. Drummer is now the leader of all Belters, more or less, at the trade union at the very least, and with Earth and Mars desperate for resources from the other planets, the Belters are finally in an equal position of power. They no longer rely on the charity or the trade with the resources of Earth and Mars. True peace is finally here. For now. Remember folks, there are still 3 more books in this series, and remember, the mean Laconians are still out there fucking about with the proto-molecule technology, and remember, the ring ghosts are still floating about in that weird little dimension, so there is much more adventure to be had in the future. Book 7 is set 30 years after these events, so we can see why the series wrapped up here, but this doesn't necessarily mean the end of live-action Expanse. It could just well be an interlude. Who knows what the future has in store for us and the Expanse, but at least for now, the Expanse has come to an end. On telly. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. The Expanse is finished, at least for now. Thanks for watching, and if you've been following my stuff for a while, thanks for sticking around. I started this channel like 10 years ago, but I started doing sci-fi breakdowns and reviews and all that kind of boring shit 5 years ago, pretty much after the first season of The Expanse started. In fact, my very first sort of review breakdown video was The Expanse Season 1. Now, that earlier stuff's pretty rough. Don't hold it against me. I've changed a lot since then, but if you want to check it out, it's still on the channel. I've done a breakdown for every season, I think, or at the very least a review, and I'll probably do a few more Expanse videos, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be doing sci-fi reviews and breakdowns and fantasy stuff and sketches and skits and cartoons and all that kind of stuff. I don't know when the next video will be, but we'll see how we go. So just because The Expanse is finished doesn't mean I'm going anywhere, but it is kind of sad because The Expanse is what got me into doing these reviews in the first place. Not that anyone watches my crap, but for the few that do, it's pretty much because of The Expanse. So it is kind of sad to see it go, but don't forget there's still 3 more books at least. That's like 3 more seasons just sitting there. Read the books, they're great. I've done a book breakdown versus show video. I've done just a book versus show in general. Like, what's the main differences? What do you get out of a show, like music and the audio visual thrill, as opposed to the books where you get narration and the thoughts of the characters and all sort of stuff. So I do highly recommend the books. They're different enough that you'll get something fresh out of it, but they're also similar enough that you can follow along. How did you guys feel about the end of The Expanse? I thought it was fucking epic. I would have loved more series, more seasons, more episodes, etc. But, you know, nothing lasts forever. That's just fucking life, isn't it? So if you like my stuff, make sure you just, hit subscribe, do all that fucking YouTube stuff. And if you want to see more of me, you can check out my second channel, Churu, which is like an Australian-centric cooking, fishing, lifestyle channel. It's a lot of dick jokes. Mostly I'm just cooking kangaroo and getting pissed. It's a lot of fun. I'm slowly growing it, but it's more about just like ethical eating in Australia. But you don't have to be Australian to enjoy the stuff. If you like my sense of humor and all that kind of stuff, then that is just an extension of this channel, except not very sci-fi. And yeah, I guess that's it. So I guess goodbye for now. Also, check it out. I got a new puppy. Her name's Boudica. She's a fucking legend. Just fucking spoke too soon. Alright, see you later.